Hey Simlies, it's Deligracy here with the second part of building the mall. In The Sims 4 with the new Get to Work expansion pack, I'm pretty excited because this is a speed build I have absolutely and very thoroughly enjoyed. It was just so much fun. I love being able to create lots of mini rooms, mini interiors throughout this whole shopping complex. And basically, in the last part, you would have seen us actually build the entire building and then start off finishing it. So we're almost finishing up on the ground floor right now. There's going to be 4 floors and a basement. So just working with it now. But, anyways, these new plinths, podiums, whatever you want to call them, were perfect to put the little books on. So we have this book section in the corner of the complex, and I just tried to have as many different genres of things you could purchase throughout the whole complex to really make it feel like a mall, even though this lot isn't humongous, and to actually build a fully sized mall would be quite difficult in The Sims, I think. Quite difficult, really. And I love that fuchsia and red, the pink couch against the red. I love those clashing colors. Definitely a fan of mismatching things up and being a little bit out of the norm. We're doing the window display here, and in the last part, I actually said that I realized probably at this point just then that you can only have 10 mannequins on a lot. So here I was going all crazy with mannequins everywhere, and then I was like, oh. So we've just had to get rid of them instead of putting those in the windows because I want them for the next floor, because the next floor is going to be the clothing floor. We've just put couches in the windows because I guess the lower level has more furniture for sale, so that makes sense. We're also putting some groovy martini / cocktail lights in there too, or juice cocktail, mocktail, should call it, in there. Although I think we get rid of them because it looked a bit like it just wasn't looking as classy as I wanted it to look. So we actually get rid of those and go with kind of matching to the other window. We go with pale pink stripes and the same kind of looking couches. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And you can, if you didn't see the last part, you'll see that we've done a baby section with a little Easter egg garden in there, as because it's Easter right now when I've published this, in case you're watching it in the future. It's Easter right now, so I thought, stores always go with Easter themes around Easter time, so that made quite nice sense, I thought. These are pretty cool lights. They've got kind of Showtime lights around them, which I thought was pretty cool. And we've gone for a sneaky save here, and obviously I'm doing something before exiting and coming back to the computer now. So coming back with fresh eyes to work on this part. I built this over 2 days? One night and half a day, really. It was a big build. This, whilst you watch it sped up, it doesn't really look like much. But when you've actually worked on it and, enjoyed it, spent time doing it and not rushing it, it takes a little while. Here we are using these columns as change rooms. And I actually thought, why not have the archways instead of doors with a curtain on the other side? We do put it on the other side to give that feel of a change room more, because I thought the doors, there are change rooms with doors, obviously, but I thought this made it more obviously change rooms in The Sims. So we've got a children's change room, and then we're going to have a female and a male's change room on the other side. The other one's like the random change room, which anyone could use. Working on this corner first, we just put a few mirrors in here, and then a chair in each change room. I like it when there's a chair there, because when you're carrying your bag and, you take off your clothes and you need to put them somewhere, it's nice to have a bench or a seat to put them on. When they don't have a chair in there, I'm like, I just have to throw my things on the floor. So, which I do in my own bedroom, but I don't want to put my clothes on a random floor half the time. You know what I mean? So I like my change rooms to have definitely some kind of seat or bench, not to use, but to put my stuff on, and plenty of hooks. You need to have a hook for the clothes you were trying on, a hook for the clothes you don't want and a hook for the clothes you do want. So you try them on off the try on hook and then you place them on either hook. That's how I like to work it. But if there's only 2 hooks, you're like, no. It's like, what do I do now? Popping in some mannequins here. We're going to put 3 female ones in. And the cool thing is you can actually change their poses, which I thought was really nice. A really nice addition to the game. I think, that could have easily been overlooked, but they've gone to the extra trouble of putting that. And I've got to say, it adds a lot of livelihood to the game. The sim man who made the mannequins, great job. I did meet him briefly, but I can't remember what his name is. And he was cool. So if anyone from The Sims in the slightest chance watches this, or anyone, just pass on that message that the mannequins were awesome, and also the plastic chairs. I mean, I doubt that will get to them, but I'll write a letter. I will write a letter. I think, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it. Okay, so we also just saw then exercise equipment. So we're actually going to put exercise equipment in a basement towards the end of this video, which I thought was pretty cool. We've also enabled all the hidden objects. So there's a really interesting kind of rock, quartz rock. I'm not really sure what you call those types of rocks where you cut them in half and they're very beautiful inside. But I thought it was really lovely. And I've seen a lot of them around using them as book holders on shelves, like book stoppers, which are really cool. So I thought they're kind of fashionable. And also we've gone with a darker palette for the male section over here. So we've got that kind of harsh orange and black, and I think it works quite well on that part of the mall or the complex, because right behind it is the red, black and white checkerboard. So on the lower levels, so that works quite well. We're also putting in a bit of an industrial theme for the male, and then a more pink, like obviously stereotypically girly on this side, some perfumes around the place. And one thing I have to wonder is, why do we not have clothing racks for Get to Work? And we have mannequins. Like, I don't understand why they didn't put clothing racks in. That's something I find really bizarre, because in every Sims game we have clothing racks and they're just an object. You don't have to interact with them. So very odd, because, if you're going to make a clothing store, you just, like, we can use the mannequins, but what else are we going to put around them? So I had a bit of trouble with that. I mean, you can use these clothes hangers with the boxes on top, because they're quite thick and chunky with boxes and bags on top. It doesn't really look like your typical clothing store setup. So that is definitely a little bone to pick, because that did confuse me. But, we'll work with what we've got. I'm sure they'll be around in the future. Yeah, interesting. I would actually like to know a reason why. And I didn't think of it at the time when I was at the Sims studio to ask, otherwise I would have, because it was all so exciting. I was like, oh, not even thinking properly. I didn't think of anything to criticize because I was so into it. Anyways, we're going to be making a children's section over the other side here. And this is probably my favorite part of this build. I love just this little corner. Once we change the positions of the children or child mannequins at the end, you'll see it in the screenshot. I just love how it turned out. I'm also going to dress all these mannequins before the screenshots, because you dress them from live mode and you change their positions from live mode. So they end up looking really, really cute. And we're going for a fruit garden theme. So I just got apples from Bite-a-Bug mode. They're actual apples, sized it up, and I thought it was a fantastic prop. And when you put it with this bright red wall, I just love with the kind of the white rabbits jumping and the big tree. I just thought it was a really cute little children's boutique area. Quite sweet. So I do love red and mint green. I've always said that, and yeah, it worked out quite nicely. So I'm wanting to use a bit of red in an upcoming build, probably in a residential build maybe. But we've kind of gone all out with this apple theme because, interior design in stores, there's usually a few things that a few themes that are explored every few months. And also, I love the little detail of one stack of shirts there that are shorter than the others or less full than the others. And that's because I used the 9 key and some of it was cutting through the table. But I liked that because it shows that some people might have bought one. So, yeah, I thought it was a cute little spot of extra detail there. Sizing up some of these characters, I did this for my teen hangout build, kind of mascots, but I thought that was appropriate for the children's area. And of course, we're going to have just a little cash register there, putting in some green carpets that tie into the grass, and making the change rooms a little bit fun for the kids area with some chairs there where their parents can wait and check out their tots or their well, we don't have tots really, like toddlers in The Sims 4 yet, but don't know if we will. But yeah, they're children anyway. I'm not too fussed by the whole toddlers thing personally, but I know tons of people really want them, so we'll see what happens, I guess. This just little corridor area was really simple, just putting some hats on the wall, which looks quite cute with those windows. That would look really nice in a residential home too. I just adore these windows. Might use them in a bakery in my new LP, I'm not sure. But really, that's pretty much the second level done, and we're going to do a fun one next, which is the electronics area. Takes us just a little while to actually figure out the aesthetic for this area because it contrasts very a lot. It contrasts very a lot to the level below. So yeah, we're going dark walls. We're going with spacey posters because I thought those more spacey imagery, that's the kind of thing that's often used for technology to advertise it. And then we've got TVs that you can buy, and we're going to get out some what look like iPads, tablets, Steza, and I actually really love this curved roof line. To begin with, I was like, oh, that's so annoying that it's cutting in. But in the end, I actually ended up really loving it as part of the build. So, oh, there's an unpainted wall there. That's annoying. Hopefully I paint it soon. And I figured those posters on the wall, they are advertising the little green thing, that holographic thing that's just in the corner there. I think it's just a hovering light, apparently. So I haven't checked it out yet, but I'll be keen to. Definitely keen to. These signs I use a lot through here because they have a neon glow to them, and I thought it looked really cool sized up and color coordinating it with some of the signs, the smaller signs around the place. So you'll see it start to come together in a second, but it's really the technology flaw, and it's quite funny that the palm tree is green in this area because it's quite a juxtaposition to the rest of it, but I think it kind of works. It works in the light of not working, if that makes sense. So yeah, it does look a lot better in the screenshots, and once we darken all these walls up, it's now coming together finally. Just took us a little while to figure it all out. But this little column area, I wanted it to be a secret gaming room, or like the hardcore gaming room. I don't know, a game that you have to play in darkness, maybe virtual gaming separate to the rest of the store. But that door was a little bit too big, so we turned it down a notch, just put a more normal archway in there, and we make this a blacked out room. Also, with the new secret alien world that came with Get to Work, there's all these really cool new plants, and I thought they were perfect to decorate the store with. So it's got a very, like, heaps of video games have aliens in it or explore that. And I just thought, maybe a new alien game came out and, they're just putting decorations up to promote it. So that was the idea. The only thing is, when I did go to live mode, you know how The Sims 4 deletes a lot of the objects that you put in? Well, it deleted them. And I moved them and put them in again, and then it deleted them again. So quite sad. It's a little bit sad. But these new computers are pretty awesome. You're meant to unlock them in the science career. But they're so cool. So cool. And we're taking out the windows on this level because I figured we didn't need the natural light up here. just wasn't necessary. So wasn't necessary at all. And we've got some cool chairs. I love those plastic chairs. I'm so obsessed with them. I love them. And then we're putting these on the lights, which I thought were cool. I thought that was such a cool idea. And it went with the green of the computers, but it just deleted itself. So unlucky. And then that signage was green too. So I was like, perfect. Couldn't get any more color coordinated. So that kind of worked out well for the best. And then we've got the red sign over the TVs there with the smaller red sign. And then likewise, blue sign with a smaller blue sign. So it's all very together and matching. And yeah, I like it. Happy with it. And I like that there's a small TV with this expansion pack too. The small TV looks like it'll be very handy. So yeah. This is when those plants got deleted, so I tried to reposition them, but they got deleted again, unfortunately. Quite a shame. These things happen though, I guess. Putting up some more advertising posters, and I was like, what should I put in these glass cabinets? Because it looks like they're meant to be expensive. So actually put in more of the figurines that I thought might be game characters that you'd pay a lot of money for because they'd be limited edition. That's the idea. And lastly, we are making... Oh, no, we still have the basement to go. But this top floor is just a small room all with windows around it where the palm tree finishes. And we're just putting in tables and chairs. It's just a seating area. So nothing up here is for sale. It's just for customers to rest their feet and to be like, I'll meet you on the top floor or something. Well, that's why I'll be waiting, reading a magazine. I should have put magazines in here. Damn it. Didn't think of that at the time. Oh well, might add them in later. And I thought there was a vending machine in some of the workplaces, but I couldn't find it. So I ended up putting a random fridge there that has nothing in it. But I thought it was a vending machine, so... Oh well. Putting in some speakers. They say that music affects the shopper a lot, which is interesting. So popping those in and then going down to the basement. So we're deleting a few things here to make way for the stairs. That's the basement we just placed in now. And basements can go 2 levels down. So you can have one basement and then one basement beneath the basement. We just go with one there. I didn't think that this shopping centre is already big enough to manage. I just don't think it's necessary to have much more. I mean, you can expand it if you wanted to. So we went with industrial stairs. This downstairs room definitely has an industrial theme inspired by them. And so exercise gear was perfect. We've got the treadmills, you've got your weights area, and we're going to pop in some punching bags, some towels to buy, if you want to work out, you might need a sweat towel, and then that's pretty much what we do here. It looks much better with a wall popped in the middle. Whenever I'm unsure of how I'm using a space, I usually decide to put a separating wall in because I just feel like it allows it to make more sense. These signs are pretty badass too. Using them again, they've been so useful. I love those signages. They're just, I love them. They're just so handy. And I love it when you discover something that works for the first time. And it's just good. So yeah, that separation wall really did make it come together a bit more. And we're going to put some towels on this industrial shelf because I just really wanted to use the industrial shelf. Just popping them up there. But for some reason, it wouldn't go in that blank space. So it's just left blank. Someone obviously bought it. They liked it. And then on this part, I was like, well, if you're going to test out the punching bag, you probably don't want to smash your face on bricks, on a brick floor. So we end up putting a more padded flooring tile in there that looks more padded. Lastly, we're going to change this from pink. It did start out as Barbie's mall, but became too big for her to own it, I think, because I was going to use this in my LP, but I want her to have a boutique because this would just be really hard to play whilst recording, I think, or at least until I get to know the expansion better. If I improve more, then I might turn it back to pink, but we just color it to red, white, and the darker brick, which I think looks quite nice. And of course, like I said, change it back if you liked it pink, or I'd love to see anyone who renovates it or changes it up. That's one of my favorite things to see you guys do, is experiment with it. I always enjoy that. And we changed the flamingos to red at the front. So the flamingos are still there. And I just think it's a pretty cool mall. I would go there. And it's definitely an upmarket, boutique-y looking mall. That is for sure. But perfect for in The Sims in any case. We can create anything you want. We're about to move on to the screenshots now, which is the exciting part. And I hope you guys have liked this build or gathered even the smallest part of inspiration from it, because that's really why I post videos. But here we are. This is the finished mall and side view, just to check it out a bit, and also the back view. I tried to get a shot looking down to give an idea of the whole shops, what it looked like. It was quite hard to do because there's so much glass everywhere. The yellow wall and table. Probably one of my other favorite parts is this color blocking area with the couches and the checkerboard. The checkerboard's kind of cool. I liked that. But let me know what your favorite part of this build is, or if there's anything that you quite liked or you didn't like. But always be nice about things you didn't like, because I have feelings. And I have a pretty thick skin from YouTube now, but I still have feelings. But yeah, just let me know what you think. And I am really excited to see what other creations people are going to make with this expansion pack. Or if you can't get this expansion pack, I'm just really keen to see more creations from The Sims, any of The Sims, because I love all The Sims, all The Sims 4. And yeah, coming up to the kids section, that's my favorite part. And there's them in their clothes with the apples and the colors. I love that. Once you change the mannequins' positions and give them clothes, they just really, really come to life. And I like that. Oh, I forgot to paint a wall. Damn it. Damn it. There's the male area, and we're about to look at the male mannequins, which pretty cool. They've got their stack of diamonds at their feet. Not really sure why, but it matched in colors. And then this is my favorite signage. I really like that. I think it looks cool. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a nice day. Hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I hope you have a really nice meal, or a really nice sleep, or a really nice something today, because I think everyone deserves it today.